Hello everyone and welcome back to the Scrub Academy. My name is Nathan. In today's episode we are jumping into our very first duel of our structure deck challenge. Now this is a sealed structure deck challenge, meaning that we each got to choose 3 structure decks and make a deck out of those decks, and now we're going to be dueling with them. Each week we're going to be going ahead and adding $30 worth of sealed product, whether it be packs or structure deck or anything that you can find that's sealed. As long as it's sealed, it can count. So we're going to be adding $30 worth of product for each week and dueling it out for 8 weeks, and whoever wins after those 8 weeks the most, so 5 out of those 8, is the winner of this season, and then we're going to start it all over again and continue doing this. If you do have any other decks you want us to play, let us know down in the comment section, and as always, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because all your support is greatly appreciated. Let's go ahead and jump into this duel. Now, this duel right here is very important. It's the very first one that we're doing. Neither of us know what the other person is playing. He's playing Rockets, I'm playing Shaddolls, as you can see on the screen, but neither of us actually know that that person is playing that deck yet. We had to run it through a third party, Travis, who was able to let us know that, hey, this person is not using that deck, so you're good, you can use that deck. So we know that the person that we're playing against isn't playing Rockets or Shaddolls. We just don't know what the other person is playing. I did go ahead and win the dice roll here, so it's going to be very key in choosing whether you go first or second. The issue with this is that both of us chose decks that the other person hasn't played and that we haven't played. So I've never played against Rockets, I've never played Rockets, I've never played against Shaddolls, I've never played Shaddolls. So choosing what to do, when, and where is very hard for this entire structured deck challenge, just because we're playing decks that we haven't ever looked at. The best part about this is we didn't open these decks up until maybe 30 minutes before this video to make the decks, and so we don't really know what's going on. We haven't read the cards, we haven't practiced, we haven't play tested, we haven't done any kind of solitaire with them, nothing. So I did go ahead and set one face down here just because I did choose to go first, but the issue with that is I don't want to show him what I'm playing just yet, just in case he has played against Shaddolls. I don't know if he has or has not. Turns out he didn't, but I did go ahead and just set that one monster face down, just because we do get flip effects on this deck, so might as well just start out with something like that. He did go ahead and take his draw phase. Looks like he does have a Tracer in hand. Like I said, we didn't know what any of these cards did, so a lot of this is going to be sitting there and reading. So there may or may not be some cuts in this, just because we're cutting out lots of the reading time when it comes to sitting there and reading cards over and over and over again, so we can actually fully understand them. Later on in the coming weeks, obviously it's going to get a lot easier for us, just because we're going to get more accustomed to our decks, and now that they're open we can actually do some sort of solitaire and playtesting just to see how things works out, especially as we add new cards to the decks. So during his main phase 1, he did go ahead and summon a Rocket Tracer here. Now if you don't know what Rocket Tracer does, it can destroy another monster. I believe it has to be a Rocket to special summon another one. Because he controls a Rocket on his field, he can go ahead and special summon his ASVR Dragon. Really good card. A lot of their cards have the same sort of effects where they can be, when they're destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon and or add one to the hand. So there's lots of refilling of the hand, refilling of the deck, refilling of the field, just to make sure that everything is ready to go, and he can really combo off. The issue with structure decks totally relies upon the fact that they don't always have the most reliable cards in the structure decks, so you kind of have to make do with everything. In the end, all it's going to be doing is figuring out what we can add to the deck when we open up packs and see if we can make the deck better. Alright, so he's going to go ahead and activate his Rocket Tracer's effect, destroying his ASVR Dragon. ASVR Dragon's going to go to the graveyard, so he can special summon one with his Rocket Tracer. Rocket Tracer is going to go ahead and special summon that Auto Rocket Dragon. And then you're going to have the ASVR Dragon's effect go off when it went to the graveyard, so he can go ahead and add one to the hand. He's going to add the Rocket Synchron to his hand. So, like I said, lots of refilling of the hand, lots of refilling of the field as things replace each other. It's a really good deck when it comes to spamming the board, so I kind of wish I had a Nibiru, but at the same time, you don't get Nibirus in Steel Structure deck. They don't have those, and so you kind of have to open those out of a pack if you want to try and use them. Alrighty, so there was a slight little cut there. It just turns into, him reading his cards for a few minutes or so, just trying to learn everything in the deck in his hand, making sure he understands it all. Just so when the misplays happen, they're not as bad as what they could be. We do misplay a few times in this duel, I will tell you right now, but, there's very minimal. He did go ahead and link someone here into his Quad Boral Dragon. I think this is actually the first misplay, I believe, when you have to destroy one. I think you have to discard to destroy. And I don't think that he didn't discard there, and I believe you have to discard to destroy. That way, you can special summon. So he's going to go ahead and special summon his Quad Boral Dragon. Like I said, neither of us have played Rockets or against Rockets, Shaddolls or against Shaddolls. So when it comes to making misplays, we don't really see it happening until later on when we're actually looking it over. So he is special summoning his Quad Boral Dragon as well as his Auto Rocket, and then his Boral Regenerator is going to be activated, which can special summon one from his graveyard and just keep bringing things back. So really good deck to kind of spam the field. It's good and bad for me. Bad because we don't, as a Shaddoll deck, we don't really spam the field all that much when it comes to first turn, especially like right now when I don't know what he's playing against. So he's going to go ahead and special summon that Rokket Tracer off the board of Generation, and he's going to be going ahead and special summoning with a Link 4 into his Topologic Zeraboros. Now, Zeraboros is a card where if a monster is special summoned to any of the zones that he points to, it banishes every single card on the field. And let me tell you, when it banishes every single card on the field, it means every single card on the field. He is going to enter his battle phase here and attack into my Trick Clown. So I didn't really give him any type of information, which he obviously is upset about. He still doesn't know what I'm playing. When it's sent to the graveyard, Trick Clown you can pay 1,000 life points and special summon the Trick Clown back in defense with 0 attack and 0 defense. So this is where my first mistake happened, but it's not really a big mistake. So when I special summon him, I special summon the main monster zone, and I special summon right into the zone where Zeraboros was sitting, which banishes everything on the field. So I didn't realize that happened. Obviously, I was like, oh shoot, well I just banished my Trick Clown that I was planning on using next turn. That's not good for me. But then I realized that I just banished his cards too, not just mine, but his as well, which allows me to banish his Imperial Order. Now, if you don't know what Shaddolls do, a lot of them are fusion cards that require this use of spells to be brought out onto the field. And with that Imperial Order, that's kind of an auto loss. I don't really know of a way to get around that. We're going to go into my turn here. We're going to activate Allure of Darkness in main phase 1, just try and get some hand power going here. Get some more cards into the hand that hopefully we can go ahead and use and get some field presence going, just because he does have the Zeraboros that will come back each turn. We're going to go ahead and open it up with summoning our Mathematician. Mathematician's effect is going to activate on summon during the main phase 1, allowing us to dump 1 monster to the graveyard. So it's kind of like the Armageddon Knight, only this allows us to do it with anything that just darks. So that can really help us as well, especially when it comes to taking care of his field. There are a few cards in my deck that can destroy spells and traps on his field, like Dragon, when they're sent to the graveyard. So we're going to go ahead and send Shaddoll Falco here. Now Falco's effect is going to activate into the graveyard because it was sent to the graveyard by a card effect, special summoning it in face down defense. So just getting a little bit of field presence here. I don't really have any Shaddolls in the graveyard, so it doesn't really help us that much. And again, I'm still learning the deck. Like, I've looked at these cards for maybe 45 seconds prior to actually getting into this duel. So we're just really learning everything. We are going to go ahead and enter battle phase and attack for 1,500 with my Mathematician, bring him down to 6,500 to my 7,000 from that Trick Clown that we used earlier in the game. We are going to go ahead and set 2 here and pass our turn. He's going to go ahead and draw, and you can see that he is going to be special summoning his Zeraboros back in the main monster zone instead of his extra deck monster zone. Now Zeraboros still has an effect where if anything is summoned to either of the zones that it points to, you can banish, or you do banish everything on the field. So he actually did misplay here himself, just because he put it in that main monster zone. So if he tries to use anything else in the extra deck, to the in a link sense anyway, to the extra deck monster zones, then he is going to be banishing everything on the field. So you are going to see some things happen here. We're going to go ahead and take a look and see what he does, in fact, do. Looks like he's going to start it off with a normal summon of Rokket Synchron. When it's normal summon, you can target 1 level 5 or higher dark monster in your graveyard. I think it has to be a dragon, and special summon it. So he is going to be special summoning that Absolute Router Dragon, which does have that effect where if it enters the graveyard, you can special summon. Or is that the ad? One of the two. I think it's the ad. Alright. So after that normal summon, he does still have his special summons he can do, as well as that. Looks like he has a Boral Regenerator, which he is going to activate, his Boral Regenerator, which is going to special summon 1 Rokket monster from the graveyard. He is going to go ahead and choose to special summon that Auto Rokket Dragon. And then he's going to Link Summon into a Link 2. And he's going to hit us with another Quad Boral Dragon. Now when Quad Boral Dragon hits the field, we do realize there that he did special summon it to the extra deck monster zone, which is going to go ahead and activate Zeraboros, banishing everything on the field. So that hurts me, but it hurts him as well. Just misplays that we have to learn to push through. And this is just going to be the pains of playing a deck, both of us playing decks that we have never actually played, which is going to be those nasty little misplays. Alright, so I go ahead and draw for turn, and then go ahead and pass right away. I don't have anything in my hand to do anything. So on his turn, he will draw, enter his standby phase, and normal or special summon back his Zeraboros, and he will go ahead and attack for that 3,000, bringing me down to 4,000 life points. Setting one right behind his Zeraboros. And I believe that's all he can really do. Alrighty, so it is my turn here. We're going to go ahead and draw for turn. And he does have a couple traps face down, and I didn't actually know, because I've never done research on this deck, that he has Mirror Force. So that's something I'm going to have to really watch out for later on. We are going to go ahead and activate Shaddoll Fusion, which is one of the brokenest cards, one of the most broken cards of all time when it comes to Shaddolls, because when he controls an extra deck monster, I can go ahead and just dump cards from my from my deck to the graveyard, which is pretty much a foolish burial for me, to special summon from the extra deck. So it's really good, really broken. Not sure why they made that effect, but we're going to go ahead and send a dragon to the grave, Shaddoll Dragon, and another Trick Clown to the graveyard. So we have a dark and a light Shaddoll and a light monster. So that means that we're going to be special summoning the El Shaddoll construct. Now, because of the new rules, we don't have to special summon that into the extra deck monster zone, which really helps this deck a lot. It just allows us to activate its effect on summon. Chainlink 2, we're going to be activating the Trick Clown, and Chainlink 3, we're going to be activating Dragon. Dragon's going to go ahead and target a spell trap on the field to destroy. Trick Clown's going to pay 1,000 life points to special summon it, and then Construct's going to dump one to the grave. We are going to target his Zero Balance, I believe it is, something like that. Zero Burner, I believe. I can't really see it that well from where I'm sitting. He's going to be activating that in the 4th chain link, targeting the Zeraboros and Construct to destroy. And I think I misplayed here because Construct's effect should still have activated, but we are going to be going ahead and filling up with those chain links. So next chain is going to be the Trick Clown paying 1,000 life points, special summoning it to the field in defense position, bringing me down to 3,000 life points. After that, Construct effect in the grave, because it was sent there this turn by a card effect, you can go ahead and add that Shaddoll Fusion back to your hand. So I should have still dumped, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. But we are going to go ahead and continue on with our turn, activating the El Shaddoll Fusion with our dragon, or no, that was a beast. With a beast in hand and then Trick Clown for another construct. Construct's effect will activate, as well as beast in Chainlink 2. So beast will be able to add me one card, or draw one card, and then construct will dump one from the deck to the grave. So construct is an amazing card with the effects of Foolish Burial, just being allowed to send. I think it's any Shaddoll card, actually, so it's even better. So it's Foolish Burial and Foolish Burial of Goods, just being able to send anything that we want to the grave, pretty much, to activate effects later on in the duel. So we're going to go ahead and send Nail Shaddoll Aerial, I believe that's Nail Shaddoll Aerial. So it's sent to the graveyard. You can go ahead and banish 3 cards from the graveyard. Now, I had never even thought to banish my own cards, because I know you can bring them back later on with, I believe it's Window, or is it Aerial when it's flipped summoned? Or when it's flipped face up. But we're going to go ahead and banish 3 of his, the Quad Portal Dragon, the Zeraboros, as well as the Rokket Synchron, just getting those out of his graveyard so we can't reuse them later on with another Boral Regenerator. I'd rather not have to deal with any of that. Now I will say that hopefully this will be the only duel where I have to sit here and narrate, just because there was lots of sitting and silence just while we were reading cards and trying to figure things out. So hopefully later on we will be going ahead and doing live duel commentary for you folks, as long as we can hear each other speak into the camera. We are both wearing masks during this duel because of the coronavirus that's currently happening around the world in the pandemic. So we are making sure that we are being safe, just so neither of us can get sick and kind of shut down everything that we're working on later on. Alright, so I did go ahead and summon the Mathematician, sending 1 to the graveyard. Looks like we're going to be sending Ray Shaddoll Windy, one of the better cards in the deck. When it's flipped face up, I can special summon 1 and face down, as well as when it's sent to the grave, I can special summon 1. So either way, you get a special summon. It's a really good card. You really want to use as many as possible with that. That's why I'm playing in 3 in the deck. So when it's sent to the graveyard, I can special summon 1 face down. We are going to be special summoning a beast face down. And again, some of these effects slip by us, so don't crucify us in the comment section, just because this is our first duel with both of us playing Rokket and Shaddoll for the first time. Some effects go right over our heads and we completely miss it, so give us a couple weeks to really learn the deck and learn everything. We are entering a battle phase and attack straight into that Mirror Force. Not a good time. Now that I know that Mirror Force is in the deck, though, I'm a little more careful, hopefully, in the future. Construct effect is going to activate in the graveyard. It is not once per turn, so you can go ahead and add that 1 Shaddoll spell or trap from the graveyard to the hand. We do have that El Shaddoll Fusion in the graveyard that we can add to our hand. And that's all I can really do here. you know, there's just lots of grindy games going to be happening here in the beginning, just to make sure we can get everything going for us. I did go ahead and set one face down here and then pass turn. It looks like he has a fusion in his hand, but he only has one monster. So he's got to figure out something that he can do, which I don't know if there's actually anything he can really do as of right now anyway, until we add more cards to the deck. He does not have a Boral Regenerate in his hand, so it's a little more difficult to get anything done. Looks like he's going to normal summon his Magna Rokket Dragon here. And he's going to go ahead and attack into my Shaddoll Beast. Now, Beast will be destroyed, but he is flipped face up. I don't actually think that I activate the effect. It doesn't look like I'm activating it. And I'm not sure why, because that would be... Oh, wait, no. I am drawing, it looks like. I drew one card. But that's it. So it looks like there is another misplay there. Maybe that is... I can't remember if that was a draw for turn or if that was... Yeah, it must have been a draw for turn, because I am going to be activating that Foolish Burial here. The entire deck is full of Foolish Burials. It just allows us to get everything we need to the grave as fast as possible. Looks like I am sending a Hedgehog to the grave. Hedgehog's effect will activate, because if it's sent to the graveyard by card effect, you can add one Shaddoll monster from your deck to your hand. This allows us to get what we need to our hand, when we need it, where we need it, and how we need it. So looks like we're going to be adding the Dragon to our hand. Dragon is a super powerful card. Allows us to destroy spells and traps when it's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, but at the same time, when it's flipped face up, you can return things to the hand. So it allows you to kind of get rid of anything you need to at the time. We're going to be activating that Shaddoll Fusion we added back to our hand previously, sending the Ariel and Dragon to the grave. He doesn't have anything set face down, but that's alright. We are going to be going for a El Shaddoll Anilatilus. I cannot pronounce that. I will never be able to pronounce that, so don't crucify me in the comment section. I would really appreciate that. Anilatilus, I believe is how you pronounce it. I will go ahead and look that up after the fact, just to make sure that I am pronouncing it correctly. So because no Shaddoll Ariel was sent to the graveyard, we are going to be activating its effect, banishing 3 from his graveyard, just making sure that he has 0 things in his graveyard he can try to reuse later on in the duel. Dragon obviously won't be able to activate his effect because there's nothing set face down. We will go to enter battle phase and attack into his Rokket monster with our Shaddoll Anilatilus. Magna Rokket Dragon will activate its effect because it was into the graveyard. And I believe that it's going to be a summon of 1 from the graveyard. Or deck, sorry, deck. So it looks like he's going to be summoning that Rokket Tracer from the deck. Gives him a little chance to survive here, hopefully. And hopefully can get back into the game. Alright, looks like he just has that Poly in hand, and looks like he drew into an Abstracted Dragon, I believe, or a Silver Rokket Dragon. One of the two, I can't tell from here. Until he actually brings it out on the field, we'll find out together what he's actually summoning. But because he did draw another monster, he can actually have that Polymerization in his hand be live, so that is kind of nice for him. Alright, so it is going to be that Silver Rokket Dragon. Summon to the field here, 1900 attack. He's going to activate his Rokket Tracer effect, destroying his own Silver Rokket Dragon. Then he can dig through his deck and figure out what he'd like to summon from his deck, which is going to be the Auto Rokket Dragon. 1600 attack, 1000 defense. Has a nice little effect on there as well. And he does still keep that Polymerization in hand alive. He is going to go ahead and activate that Polymerization, fusing together his Magna Rokket and his Rokket Tracer, bringing out his Borreload Furious Dragon, 3000 attack, 2500 defense. It does have a quick effect as well. He's just going to go ahead and enter the battle phase here and attack over my Anatoliphus. Double checking everything with his effects, making sure I understand for next turn. Anatoliphus will go to the graveyard and he will damage me for 300 life points, bringing me down to 2,700 to his 5,600. Anatoliphus will activate Engrave, allowing me to add one back to my hand. I can target one Shaddoll spell or trap my graveyard and add it to my hand. So we're going to go ahead and add that Shaddoll Fusion. That way I can reuse it because he does have an extra monster. Silver Art Dragon will activate in the end phase because it was sent to the graveyard this turn by a card effect. So again, just being able to completely refuel everything from his hand to his deck and field and whatnot. So Auto Rokket Dragon is going to come out onto the field. Now Furious Dragon does have a quick effect, so we have to be ready for that. I don't believe I actually realize that as of right now. You know, you can read over cards a million times, but when you're in the moment and you're learning a deck for the first time, you're thinking more about your own cards than about your opponents, and sometimes misplays happen. We're going to activate that Shaddoll Fusion in our main phase, allowing us to send 2 monsters from my deck to the graveyard because it controls a extra deck monster to fusion summon from my extra deck. So let's go ahead and see what we're going to be sending to the graveyard. Looks like it's going to be a Windy as well as a Trick Clown, so we're going for a construct play here. Alright, so Construct is going to hit the field here. His effect will activate, as well as Trick Clown and Windy. All of them will activate. So let's go ahead and see those chain links. He is going to chain with his Furious Dragon. So we're going to have Construct chain link 1, Windy chain link 2, Trick Clown chain link 3, and then Furious Dragon following it up as chain link 4. So chain link 4, Furious Dragon is going to go ahead and pop his monster as well as my Construct. Trick Clown's effect will activate, special summoning him, bringing me down to 1,700 life points. We'll go ahead and put that in defense position. Construct's effect will go ahead and add that Shaddoll Fusion back to my hand. We might have gone out of chain link here, gone out of the row, but let's see if we follow it up and see if we bring out the Windy. Ah, there it is. So Windy's effect is activating, so we're just going to be prematurely adding that Shaddoll Fusion to our hand. Alright, so his turn, he's going to be activating the Auto Rokket Dragon in his end phase, allowing him to special summon 1 Rokket Dragon from the deck, besides itself. So we're going to be special summoning, or he will be special summoning anyway. And we're going to see what he's going to be bringing. I thought he was going to grab that Rokket Tracer, which is obviously one of the better cards in his deck, but we'll see if that's what he ends up grabbing. Looks like he is choosing the Exploder Rokket Dragon. We'll go ahead and draw 1 card and see what he does on his turn. He is going to go ahead and special summon that Absoluter Dragon because it controls a Rokket monster. So it keeps swarming the field a bit there, and obviously that can be a little bit troublesome for a Shaddoll deck until you get the wind to add on the field, which I don't think I've actually gotten one on the field yet this game, so hopefully later on we can get one out and see how well it actually works. He is going to be linking 2 here, going into his Quad Boral Dragon. Now Quad Boral Dragon can't activate its effect because he has no cards in hand. I think now is when we're realizing the misplays from earlier when he didn't actually discard. So, because he doesn't have the discard, he can't actually do anything with it. He is going to go ahead and enter battle phase here, attacking over my Trick Clown and leaving my face down monster alone, which is mighty fine for me. We're going to go ahead and draw for turn here, and we're going to see that we decided not to actually use the Trick Clown's effect, bringing me down to 700. I figured at this point in the game, it's pretty late, and he has 2 monsters on the field to my 1. We should probably try and conserve our life points as much as possible. So we are going to see a flip summon here from Shaddoll Hedgehog. So when his effect activates, you can add 1 Shaddoll Spell Trap from the deck to my hand. Just allows me to get that fusion in my hand if I don't actually already have it. Looks like we're going to be adding a Shaddoll Core. So at that point, I think we're getting to the point where, you know, we have everything out of the deck that we could possibly have. So when it comes down to it, we're running low on resources. Alright, from there you see the activation of Shaddoll Fusion, allowing me to send 2 from my deck to the graveyard to fusion summon, because he does have fusion monsters on the field from the extra deck, or monsters in general from the extra deck. So we're going to be seeing a Windy sent to the graveyard, and I believe a Dark Armed Dragon. So I did have this in the deck for week 1. I do end up taking this out after week 1 just because there's so many darks that end up in the grave that it's just not possible to even think about getting the Dark Armed Dragon out and actually use it. So it kind of just ends up being a dead draw anyway. So we are going to see the El Shaddoll Winda here. At this point you realize that, you know what, Winda is actually one of the best cards in the deck. It can't be stripped of card effects, as well as it limits the summons. So it just helps overall controls the swarming of the deck or the field of the Rockets. Alright, Furious Dragon's effect is going to activate, targeting the Winda, but guess what? Winda can't be destroyed by card effects. That's when you realize that, you know what, Winda is actually probably the best card in the deck when it comes to taking on the Rockets, because it can't be destroyed by Furious Dragon, and it limits their swarming abilities. So we are going to go ahead and attack over his Quad Boral with our Winda. And then at this point we're at low enough range with our Hedgehog on the field that if he just attacks with that Furious Dragon, it's going to be game over for us. So we are going to set 2 in our main phase 2 and then activate the El Shaddoll Fusion, just allowing us to bring out another Winda to the field. So we still get that presence of only one special summon, but at the same time we're getting rid of the Hedgehog off the field. That way he can't attack over it for game. That was the big thing right there. Now El Shaddoll Fusion's effect is going to El Shaddoll Winda's effect is going to activate, allowing me to add a spell or trap from my graveyard to my hand. So we're going to add that Shaddoll Fusion to reuse that later on in the duel. He is going to draw here and draw into his Dragon Shrine. Probably one of the better top decks that he could draw into. Alright, so it does look like he is going to activate that Dragon Shrine, allowing him to send 1 Dragon monster from the deck to the graveyard. If it's normal, he can send another one, so we'll see if he chooses to send 1 or 2 to the graveyard. Looks like he's just going to be sending one to the graveyard here. His ASVR Dragon. And if that's sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one. Or add one of the two. He's going to be adding a Silver Rokket from his deck to hand. He'll then normal summon that Silver Rokket Dragon. He'll enter battle phase and attack with his Furious Dragon over my window, knocking me down to 900 life points, so I'm going to be in that fatality zone there. He is going to try and attack with his Silver Rokket Dragon. I'm going to go ahead and activate my Rest Shaddoll Incarnation, allowing me to target one Shaddoll monster from my graveyard and special summon it. So this allows me to stay alive for one more turn and hopefully pull something out of the hat. Looks like we are going to be special summoning that Dragon and face down defense. Dragon is the card that I mentioned earlier that allows me to return one card on the field to the hand that my opponent controls. So I'm not sure if he knows that or not, but hopefully we'll find out. He's going to go ahead and attack my face down Dragon with his Rokket. I do attempt to activate my Rest Shaddoll Incarnation here to flip the Dragon face up. I just didn't realize that you can only activate once per turn, or one effect of its per turn. So Dragon's effect is going to activate upon summon when it's flipped, or upon attack declaration when it's attacked and flip face up, returning the Furious Dragon back to the extra deck. He is going to go ahead and chain with his Furious Dragon here. Furious Dragon is going to destroy his Silver Rokket as well as one of my cards that's currently set face down on the field. So he's going to destroy his Silver Rokket, and then I'm not sure which one of my face downs he's going to hit, but let's see which one he hits. So he's going to choose the far right one, hitting that El Shaddoll Fusion. So kind of a bummer for me, but hopefully we can get something done. He does end up clearing the field though, so that helps us quite a bit. And then Silver Rocket's effect in the end phase is going to allow him to add one to his hand. Oh, special summon, sorry. Special summon one from the deck to the hand, or deck to the field. Sorry. So he's going to choose his Rokket Tracer to special summon that. Like I said, we're still learning the deck. Still learning all the effects. I'll get it down, don't worry. Alrighty, my turn. I am going to drop a turn here. And then I'm going to go ahead and activate my Shaddoll Core that I currently have set on the field. It allows me to special summon it as a monster. And it actually has quite a big booty on there. 1950 is actually pretty hard to get over when it comes to any sort of attacking Rokket monster. Unless he's using something from the extra deck. Alright, looks like we're just going to set 2 face down and pass turn. Nothing really much we could do there. He does draw for his turn. It looks like, I don't believe he can actually use this right now anyway. And since he can't really attack over... Here you can see a activation of the Boral Supplier. Now during each standby phase you can do some stuff that it popped up way too fast and too far away from me. It doesn't really matter though, because he's just going to be using his Rokket Tracer here to target one face of card he controls. He does realize now that he can use any card he controls, not just one of his monsters. So Rokket Tracer is going to pop that Boral Supplier, allowing him to special summon one from his deck. Looks like the one he's going to choose is his Magna Rokket Dragon. And I do apologize for the glare on the screen as well. We didn't realize until after the fact that there's a large glare coming from that graveyard. We are hoping to get that fixed later on with different lights being used over our playing field. Now, Shaddoll Core does have a big booty here at 1950, so it's going to be kind of hard for him to get over. He actually can't get over it at all with the monsters he currently has on the field. So if he does want to try and get over it, he does have to use his extra deck. Alright, we're going to see an activation of Shaddoll Incarnation here on, I think that's during the end phase of his turn, allowing me to special summon one in face down or face up defense. So let's go ahead and see which one I choose here. Looks like we are going to be choosing the Aerial. My go, I'll go ahead and draw for turn. And then we're going to go ahead and activate that Shaddoll Incarnation, looks like, by banishing it as well as another of my monsters in the graveyard, one of the Shaddoll monsters, and then special summoning one. Or, no, sorry, this is the flip face up. So we banish it and another Shaddoll monster to flip one card on my start of the field face up. Which is actually really funny because since we actually used we brought back the Aerial last turn, I could have just flipped it out myself and flip summoned it. But because we're using that effective Carnation, it's allowing us to banish one. Because Aerial actually, when I flip summon, allows me to special summon one of my banished Shadolls. So we are going to be going ahead and summoning our construct that we just banished with our Incarnation. Construct effect will activate on summon, allowing me to send one Shaddoll card to my graveyard. Sending the Shaddoll Fusion because, you know what, at this point, I literally have 0 spells and traps or Shaddoll cards in my deck anyway. So that's all I could really grab in the end. This is where links would come in really handy if we had one. Unfortunately, the structure decks actually only come with one link, 2 of them, which is one of the Shaddoll construct, and you can't really use that right now, so it doesn't really work out too well. We're going to go ahead and activate the Shaddoll Fusion that we had set on the field. We're being sneaky here, setting that. Bringing out our El Shaddoll Shakanaga. Hopefully in the upcoming weeks, we can open some packs and try and grab some of those link monsters that will allow us to actually play with our deck to its fullest capacity. If there are any cards you think either of us should try and add to our decks by opening packs, let us know down in the comment section. We can try and figure out where we can get those packs. It is kind of hard to do that, to get certain packs right now. A lot of people are buying them up. So we kind of just have to deal with what we got, but hopefully we can find some packs for you guys so we can open those up, make our decks even better. You are going to see a banish of a light and dark here for our BLS. BLS is going to activate, or enter battle phase and attack over his Tracer. Tracer is going to activate its effect, targeting the Magna Rokket there to special summon one. It does allow him to live out the turn because he can special summon in defense instead of attack. That way he doesn't take as much damage. So we're going to see the summon of Rokket Synchron there in defense position. And then, since we had a summon, we're going to redo that battle. We're going to go ahead and attack into that Rokket Tracer, bringing him down to 3,000. And because BLS destroyed the monster, he can go ahead and attack again. And finally, Shakanaga is going to go ahead and attack for 26, bringing him down to 400. So we have made the comeback. We have taken the lead. Hopefully, he has nothing left to try and do anything to us. He does draw for turn here. It looks like it is a squib draw. Nothing he can do with that. So that is going to be the end of game 1 of match 1. So 1-0 myself, taking the lead here. Let's go ahead and jump into game 2. We do have side decks, nothing you can really do with them right now. If we side, we side. If we don't, we don't. Nothing you can really do there. We don't have really that good of cards. If you have not seen our deck profiles, make sure to check those out. That will be up in the cards for you, as well as linked at the very end of the video. You can see our deck profiles as well as the revealment of what decks we're actually playing for this. He is going to start off with a quick launch here, special summoning 1 rocket monster from his deck. It can attack and destroy it during the end phase. Doesn't really matter, he's just using it to bring out, probably activate the effective Rocket Tracer. So, it is this Rocket Tracer that he is summoning here. So obviously Quick Launch is one of the better cards in the deck. It's a starter, allows you to get things going, get your plays heading in the correct direction. He is going to go ahead and normal summon that Magna Rocket Dragon. Most cards in his deck are level 4 or lower, so when it comes to normal summoning them, he can do that after the fact. Looks like he's also going to be summoning his ASVR Dragon here because he does control a rocket monster. And we do see a Twin Twister in his hand, so we do have to be wary of that in the future. I'm not sure if he's maining that or siding that. When it comes to editing of the videos and posting them, I usually edit this first. That way I can not see what he's playing prior to actually doing any of the duels. So Rocket Tracer is going to activate his effect, destroying that ASVR Dragon. Rocket Tracer is going to special summon 1 from the deck, and then ASVR Dragon is going to go ahead and add 1 to his hand. Alright, so Rocket Tracer's effect is going to summon the Silver Rocket Dragon. We're going to get a shuffle and a cut before he goes back in to add with the ASVR Dragon. Always got to make sure that deck is nice and randomized for him. Alright, so ASVR Dragon's effect is going to activate now after he shuffled and we've cut the deck, allowing him to add 1 to his hand. Now it looks like he's going to be adding the Rocket Synchron. And funny fact, the extra deck of the Shaddoll deck comes with 1 link that you can't really use because it has side arrows instead of the ones pointing down or up. And the Rocket deck only doesn't come with any Synchrons, so having like a tuner like Rocket Synchron doesn't really do much for you. So he's going to have to try and open up some packs and try and pull some Synchros to use. We do see a Squib Draw in his hand. He is going to set 1. Let's see if he has. He's going to activate the Squib Draw here. Targeting 1 rocket monster he controls, destroy it, and if you do, draw 2 cards. Pretty good card, because you can destroy to draw 2, and then most cards actually activate when they're sent to the graveyard by card effect. So he's going to draw his 2. And then whenever he destroys, can usually activate its effect as well, so he's getting a +3 there. Alright, Quick Launch is going to activate, special summoning 1 from his deck. And as I was reading that just now, it looks like it is not a once per turn, so that is actually a pretty broken card. Alright, the monster he's going to be bringing out is Exploder Rocket Dragon. One of the highest levels, and I think highest attack that's actually in his main deck. We'll shuffle up and cut real quick. He's going to set 1 face down. 2 monsters still in his hand, and we'll see what he goes into. Alright, looks like he's going to be linked into his Booster Dragon. He does have a Twin Twister set, so we'll have to watch out for that as well. Alright, we do have the summon of Rocket Tracer here. We'll get that deck nice and cut up. And we're going to see the activation of Super Polymerization. And Super Polymerization comes in the structure deck of the Shaddolls. So I do have 3 of them in the deck, probably the best thing in the world. We're going to see the discard of Aerial for cost. And one cool thing about Super Polymerization is you can't activate anything in response. So no matter what, it's going. You know, we're summoning, doesn't matter what it is. Alright, looks like we're going to be using Dragon, Shaddoll Dragon, and the Booster Dragon there. For the summon of Winda. Now, Winda, obviously we've learned now that it is one of the best cards in the deck when it comes to stopping the swarming of his field. And so, obviously, we want to get that out as fast as possible. Now, Dragon's effect will activate as well as Aerial. Aerial Chainlink 1, Squamata Chainlink 2. Squamata will send 1 from the deck to the graveyard. And Aerial will banish his from his graveyard. Squamata is going to go ahead and send the Dragon to the graveyard, allowing me to target his other set card, which I believe is Twin Twister, and destroy that. Just to get that out of the way, we do know now that he is playing the Mirror Force, so attacking blindly into a set card isn't usually the best thing. So we're going to see the banishment of Epsilon Dragon, Booster Dragon, as well as Rokket Tracer. He can't reuse those with his Booster, or his, was it Boral Regenerator? That's out of the picture now for us, so that is pretty good. So yeah, Dragon's effect is going to activate, popping his back row, which is that Twin Twister. Can't do anything with that anyway, because I don't have anything set face down. We are going to go ahead and enter battle phase here, attacking over and doing a couple life points of damage, down to 7,800. Main Rocket's effect is going to go ahead and activate, because it was destroyed by battle. In the end phase, we're going to go ahead and set 1 monster face down and end our turn. During the end phase, Main Rocket's effect is going to activate. Switch to summoning that Magna Rokket Dragon. We are going to be doing some little drums on the cards here as he figures out his next play. He's going to go ahead and draw for turn here. Looks like he has a, if you would stop shuffling his cards, we have a Rokket Synchron, Auto Rokket. Alright, so we're going to see the summon of the Auto Rokket Dragon here. And then we're going to see a link summon into the Triple Burst Dragon. Alright, he's going to go ahead and attack into my window to try and get that out of the way so he can special summon more than once per turn, bringing me down to 7,800 life points myself, evening the playing field. When his effect will activate, I don't think that there is anything, because we did go ahead and use the Super Polymerization instead of a Shaddoll Fusion. So it doesn't really matter there. He'll go ahead and enter his turn there on that. I'll go ahead and draw for turn here. And we'll see if we can come back from losing our window after 1 turn. We're going to see the flip summon of Shaddoll Hedgehog here, allowing me to add 1 Shaddoll Spiral Trap from the deck to the graveyard, or deck to the hand, deck to the hand, which allows me to really get things going, because I can just add a Shaddoll Fusion, and because he controls an extra deck monster, I can just start pumping things into the graveyard. So, really allows me to get my deck going as fast as possible when it comes to that. We are going to go ahead and see an activation of Shaddoll Fusion here in the main phase. Sending the Squamata as well as Trick Clown to the grave to bring out a Shaddoll Construct. El Shaddoll Construct to be exact. Now Shaddoll Construct's effect is going to activate on summon. Then you are going to see some chain links here. So we got chain link 1 Construct, chain link 2 Squamata, and then chain link 3 Trick Clown. Trickline's going to go to the grave, bringing me down to 6,800 life points. Squamata's effect is going to send one from deck to the grave, and then Construct will also send one from deck to grave. And with only the Triple Burst Dragon on the grave, on the field, it's going to be pretty hard to stop whatever I'm doing. So we're going to see 2 cards dumped. Looks like Shaddoll Incarnation as well as Beast. Beast will allow me to draw 1, and then Incarnation can be banished to flip 1 face up later on in the duel. So we'll go ahead and draw 1 off that Beast there. Then we're just going to go ahead and enter battle phase. Construct will activate its effect at the start of the damage step, destroying his Triple Burst Dragon automatically without having to actually do anything else. And then we're just going to attack into him directly with a Hedgehog, bringing him down to 7,000 life points. After that, let's go ahead and in main phase 2, set 1 face down and end my turn. Doesn't look like he has any spells in his hand, so he can't be using anything crazy. He does have 3 monsters here. We'll see what he can pull out of the hat. Alright, looks like we're going to be seeing the summon of Rokket Synchron. Its effect will target 1 level 5 or higher dark monster in his graveyard if he does have one, and special summon it. Alrighty, so Explorer Rokket Dragon is going to be the one that's summoned. And again, there's no synchros in the actual extra deck, so we can't be doing any crazy synchro shenanigans against me. And as an avid synchro lover, I would feel kind of sad if he did that anyway. We are going to be seeing a summon of the Absolute Dragon because we do control a rocket monster. And now we can go into his links here. We'll see which one he chooses. Looks like we're going to be seeing a Link 2 here, using the Rokket Synchron as well as the Absolute into the Quad Boral Dragon. Now Quad Boral Dragon will activate its effect, discarding 1 card, destroying itself to special summon up to 2 from the graveyard. Which is really interesting because you can actually special summon itself. I believe we might be, that might be a mistake, who knows. So it'll destroy the Construct here instead. Construct will activate its effect when it's sent to the graveyard, allowing me to add back that Shaddoll fusion. Absolute Dragon's effect will activate because it's sent to the graveyard by a card effect, allowing him to add 1 Rokket from his deck to hand. Alright, looks like the one that he's going to be adding to his hand is Rokket Tracer. We'll go ahead and shuffle it up and give it a nice little cut. And I believe at this point all you can really do is enter battle phase. Let's see what he does. Alright, he's actually going to be linking again here into another Triple Burst Dragon. He'll go ahead and enter his battle phase here and attack into the set monster instead of the Hedgehog for certain damage. The set monster is actually Falco. And I believe at this point I don't activate its effect. I'm not sure why I didn't activate its effect here, but I didn't activate the effect, I don't believe. I even read the card. You saw me take the time there to read the card. I'm not sure why I didn't just summon that Construct face down, but I didn't. That would have been pretty nice to do, but, mistakes happen. You just have to move past them. Alright, looks like he is going to go ahead and... let's see if he ends his turn here. Alright, lots of graveyard looking through. Looks like in the end phase I am going to activate Shaddoll Incarnation, banishing it as well as something else in my graveyard. We'll see if we actually go through with it here. If we do, I'm guessing we're just going to be flipping that hedgehog face down. Alright, looks like we are banishing it. Not sure, I couldn't see what we actually banished with that, but we are flipping that hedgehog face down. That way we can reuse it during my turn. Alright, looks like we did go ahead and flip summon that hedgehog there, adding the Shaddoll Incarnation to our hand. Gotta read through those layers of text to see what's going on here. Make sure that there's nothing that I'm missing. That way I don't embarrass myself with a simple misplay, which could obviously happen at any time. We are both scripts here, so might as well just get that out of the way. There will be misplays at some point. This is all about playing new decks we've never played, trying to make them competitive and bettering ourselves, as well as maybe bettering you along the way. During our main phase, we're going to see the activation of a Shaddoll Fusion here. Because it controls an extra deck monster, we can go ahead and send 2 monsters from my deck to the graveyard, 2 special summons from the extra deck. Looks like we're sending the Aerial and Trick Clown here, going for a construct play. Does look like he has a lot of things in his graveyard as well, so might as well banish some of that with Aerial if we can. So we are going to see the summon of Construct here. On summon, Construct effect will activate, as well as our monsters. We're going to see a Chain Link 1 Construct, Chain Link 2 Aerial, and Chain Link 3. Do I deactivate Trick Clown? I don't know, doesn't look like I did. Looks like we already have one on the field anyway, so it doesn't matter. So we'll see the banishment of 3 monsters from his graveyard, allowing me to free up some space there so he can't use his Brawl Regenerator to too many targets. Construct is going to go ahead and dump 1 from deck to grave. Alright, looks like the one that he's sending from deck to grave is his Windy here. Windy is going to go ahead and special summon my beast in face down defense position, allowing me to use that effect later on. Lots of hand waving here. We'll see what happens as the argument ensues. Looks like we are going to go ahead in our battle phase. Attack with our construct, destroying it without actually doing any damage at the start of the damage step, and then attacking for 800 down to 6,200 life points. We'll go ahead and set 1 face down. And he only has 1 card in hand, so unless he pulls something out, we do have lots of things on the field. Looks like he did draw the Twin Twister, as well as a Rokket Tracer is currently in his hand. Not much I can do with that, so it could be the end of times for Mr. Steven here. He did go ahead and pass turn for us here, giving us a nice clear opening to attack directly. We'll go ahead and draw for turn here. And we'll see, let me go through the graveyard real quick. Banishing a Light and Dark here for the BLS. And that should be game right there, folks, allowing us to attack for game. We do have lethal damage on board. So that is the entire game for you guys. I did go ahead and win match 1 out of 8 for us. So if you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, because all support is greatly appreciated. But until next time, guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, this is Nate from the Scrub Academy, signing out for now. Peace out.